Well, hey everybody. You're tuned into Pacific Ocean Asia. I thought it was high time I talked about this. Any of you drive for a living? Any of you drive anywhere in a day? To work, from work, to the store? I've noticed over the years, the drivers have definitely gotten worse. Some people don't seem to think so. But I know when I was growing up in Los Angeles as a kid, there seemed to be a lot more police out there pulling people over when they did something wrong, like failure to use a turn signal, failure to yield, speeding. And in Denver, Colorado today, I noticed, boy, you just don't see people get pulled over very much. In Denver, I noticed that people don't just go over the posted speed limit. They start at 10 over here. A lot are going 20 over. It doesn't matter if it's a residential area. It doesn't matter if it's a school zone. I drive a big yellow school bus. And it's interesting. Yellow flashing lights, both sides of a one-way. I drop down to 20. Cars are still going 40. I've tried an experiment. As the car's overtaking me, I go beep, beep. They don't even slow down. But that's not the only problem. You get on the interstates here, you come down the ramp, you try to get on. You're in a big vehicle. Sometimes I'm in a big 10-wheeler without the trailer. You got to get your speed up. You got to match the speed to get on. 20 cars will keep going and not let you merge. You got your signal going. Have drivers gotten worse, or have we always had this problem? No. Drivers have gotten worse. I'd say 50% or more of the drivers in Colorado do not use their blinker. They'll move 2 inches in front of me. I honk the horn. No reaction. It's like they don't even hear you. And if it wasn't bad enough already, everybody's got a phone now. I'd say over 50% of the drivers now are texting today, flipping through Facebook, and they're doing it as they're rolling forward. They're doing it as they're going 40. I can always tell the texter, you're at a turn arrow. Most of us know the turn arrows in the city. The turn arrow that goes green, yellow, red. Just like that. You have 20 cars waiting to make a left turn. If the person sitting in their vehicle is texting, not only are they going to miss the light, but so am I. You tap the horn, they look up. Oh, they start to go, and then they hit the brake because the lights hit yellow. And then you're like, oh, thanks. Because you were so selfish, you had to look at what was so important on your phone that never mind the rest of us. Never mind the fact that there's other vehicles and delivery trucks and a school bus and a city bus that have a schedule. Have people become more self-centered? Have people become more selfish? You bet. And we see it every day. But what is it with the speeder? The speeder, you think it'd be some teenage punk, right? Nope. I can't tell you how many times I've looked to my left and seen a silver-haired lady in an SUV. Wow. Where's she going? Church? The floral shop? To get her prescription? Add into that factor that a huge amount of people today are on meds. Meds that affect your ability to drive. And let's take the other side of people, the ones that are recommended by their doctor to be on meds, and the day they don't, well, you just put that bipolar person in a car that didn't take their meds that day. What do you think you're going to have? But here's something interesting. Statistically, Fox News did a report some years ago that 19 to 25-year-old women were the worst offenders at texting and driving, leading to fatalities of other people. There was a case of a woman, I believe it was Wisconsin, a couple years ago, texting and driving, wasn't paying attention, got into an accident with a box truck, which resulted, I believe it resulted in the death of the children in the back of the car. I can't remember. But a motorist found the cell phone because it flew out of the car. Turned it into the police department. Police looked at it and they said, oh, this is the woman that we ticketed. I think that they re-pulled her back in and they booked her for some huge charges. They showed the exact time she was texting, which was the time that the truck driver reported the accident. How many of you stop at a stop sign? How many of you actually pull up and make a complete stop? They've done YouTube videos all over YouTube watching people at a four-way stop, even in small towns. And the guy's standing there, oh, that one didn't stop, that one didn't stop, that one didn't stop. People treat a stop sign like a yield sign, and a yield sign doesn't mean anything. But we have the impatient driver. And you want to know what? That's 99% of people today. If I were to sit here and tell you all of the driver stories that I've seen, you wouldn't believe me. I've had people pass me on the sidewalk at the Denver Tech Center. I was delivering a truck years ago. I stopped at a red light. A guy in an SUV got up on the sidewalk between the trees, and the right side of my vehicle got on the sidewalk and made a right turn. This wasn't a sidewalk that was only this high. It was one you had to jump up the curb, get on, and then risk hitting planters and everything else. The guy was wearing a suit and tie. So I started doing an analysis of who's who. I broke it down in my mind. Who's got the Obama-Biden stickers? Who had vote for Romney stickers? Who had vote for Trump? Who had anything to do with the LGBT? Who had stickers that affiliated them with being a Democrat or being a conservative? I looked at stickers that showed that somebody obviously had some sort of Christian faith. You know, the honk if you love Jesus. I wanted to add honk if you are a safe driver. Real men love Jesus, and I wanted to add real men use turn signals. I started looking at all of the people's philosophy stuck to the back of their car. We have a Colorado license plate that says adopt a shelter pet. First three letters, then the numbers, and a dog paw in the middle. They have to pay more for that. But if that is enough, the silly people that love their pets got a big dog paw sticker on the back of their SUV. And I want to ask, what are you trying to tell us? I have a dog. I'm obsessed with my dog. Wow, that's unique. There's only about 9 million other vehicles that have that. Or how about the coexist bumper sticker? The coexist, where each letter is the symbol of a religion. The C is the crescent moon and the star, which is Islam. The T is the cross of Christianity. I think the X is the Star of David. And I stop right there and go, now there's a driver you don't want to be behind. They're obviously ignorant of all faiths and religions out there. Islam and Christianity cannot coexist, because if you just do a cursory, superficial study of each and every religion, Allah claims that he's the only God. Jesus Christ claimed that he was the way, the truth, and the life, and Jesus Christ himself claimed to be God. And we're not going to break down the different religious faiths, but anybody that knows any study of religion, the ignorant say, oh, all roads lead to heaven. No, they don't. Jesus Christ very much divided those waters and said, broad is the road to destruction, many there be that travel on it. Narrow is the way to eternal life, few there be that find it. So I started breaking it down in my mind. Is it men? Is it women? Is it old? Is it young? The young people today, the millennials, don't get behind them. and you don't want them behind you. They're terrible. They have no conscience. None. Not all, but most. Old people, the church-going ones. I go to church, and I get a great bird's eye view of the people that roar up behind me when I'm going the posted speed limit. I've left church. I've gotten 10 blocks away, and I see the gray hairs tailgating me. And then when they get a chance, boom. Wow. I had a discussion with a woman that's in the Marine Corps. I had a discussion with a whole bunch of people, and she happened to be present. I said, it's amazing. I go down to Colorado Springs. Whole bunch of military people down there. I've delivered snow plows. I've delivered trucks down there. And I was amazed to find that the military people, complete in uniform, speed limits, turn signals, stop signs, meant nothing. But if you listen to military people, they'll go on and on about people who don't obey the laws and the rules under the commanding officer. And I made a comment to this young lady. I said, I find it interesting that military people are all anal retentive about following every iota of the military, and then they get out here in civilian life and they just drive like idiots. She looked at me and she goes, well, if you go the speed limit, maybe go run over. And I said, that's not the way the law states it. The law does not say in any booklet that I've ever read that you're supposed to go the flow of traffic, which means breaking the speed limit. Now, what it does say is if you're all the way in that left lane and you're not going this posted speed limit, meaning it's 55 and you're going 45, you're going to get a ticket. Here in Colorado, there's an interesting way of thinking. Yesterday, I went to make a lane change. Woman was several blocks behind me. I saw her, though, and I could tell she was whizzing, and I thought, no, I'm on I-25. There's heavy traffic. I'm signaling. I move over. I barely got into my lane, and she was right on me. I was going the posted speed limit through congested central Denver, 55 miles an hour. When she could, she got out, got even with me, and went, and I looked right at her. You want to say something? She took one look at me and thought, better face the road. And the thing that bothers me is this is the norm. Every driver out there thinks they're in the right. They think when somebody pulls out in a residential neighborhood, they're going 25. They pull up with a stop sign. They look. They misjudge the car that's going 60. They pull out, and guess what? The guy going 60 lays on the horn. And I look at him going, you're breaking the speed limit and you're honking at somebody who pulled out. That if you had been going the speed limit, they could have made their turn and you wouldn't have even had to hit your brakes. You think as a school bus driver that people would respect little children getting on and off a bus with my red lights flashing and a stop sign out with red lights on the stop sign? Nope. I had a Hispanic woman. We're going to be doing a video on the Hispanic dynamic. I've had 6 years in Denver, Colorado. The Hispanic dynamic is at 58%. And that's another video. But the Hispanics are some interesting folks. And I'm not racist. I work with them. I have many people that I associate with that are Hispanic. But I'm here to tell you, there's a problem with a lot of the Hispanics in America. A big problem. And we'll get into that in another video. But even in the Hispanic neighborhoods in Denver, they run my stop sign. I lay on the horn and they go. One day I had my window open. I said, you are supposed to stop. She slams on the brakes. I'm going to report you. I said, you're going to report me for what? You went right through my stop sign. Did you see the kids getting off? You're yelling at me. You almost hit students, lady. You want to be in court for the rest of your life? You want to deal with a mama bear robbed of her cubs? If you want to keep yelling at me, I've already written your plate down. I'm going to turn it in. And then you see the, ma'am, I'm turning you in. Done with you. Shut the window. I'm not going to engage anymore. We live in a day and age where everybody is doing what they think is right in their own eyes. Situational ethics. I'm reinterpreting the law. I'm in a hurry, therefore the speed limit's optional. SUVs and big pickups, dually pickups, four-door pickups, the what I call the faux pickups. You know, the pickups that got the big poofy fenders and the big poofy hoods, and they're all plastic. And little boys with their toys get behind the wheel of these things and they think, wow, look at me and my big poofed up potato chip. We live in a very vain era. We live in an emotionally driven logic era. And is it just women that are driven by emotion? Nope. Not at all. I've had people honking at me when I'm trying to make a turn in a school bus and the traffic is so heavy that they fail to understand that me making a right turn, that even though to the left of me is clear, the traffic coming towards me from my right, my bus is 40 feet long, I can't go because I will be turning and encroaching onto their lane. John Q. Motorist doesn't look far enough ahead. John Q. Motorist gets as close to me in the left lane as they can when they see my right turn signal on, failing to realize that when I turn that corner, my back end is going to swing and scrape their vehicle. We were also warned that in Denver, there are some people that know that our back end swings around and get as close as they can, hoping we'll scrape their jalopy or whatever they're driving so that they get some money. Yes, there's people out there driving little tiny cars that are gleeful about the idea of a school bus or a semi-truck. Ooh, open checkbook. Ooh, stupid driver. Yes, you could be in the right, but you could be dead. You're tangling with something way bigger than you. Why would you even think that way? Most people that drive do not think preventable accident. Most people sail through a green light without looking left and right on that intersection to see if somebody's about to run a red light. They argue, I've got insurance, they hit me, it's going to be their ticket. In Colorado, it's not so quite clearly spelled out. A cop may ticket the other guy, but their insurance may fight it. The other thing that most motorists in Colorado don't realize is, yes, you have insurance, but if you, in your negligence and your reckless driving, cost somebody more than just damage their vehicle, if you damage their ability to work, if you damage their ability to produce and to function, if you take their life, their significant other can sue you for loss of companionship, loss of income, and pain and suffering, and the books can go, the judge can award millions of dollars. And they can come after your house, they can come after your bank account, and most people fail to realize a good attorney will clean you out, especially if you're highly negligent, resulting in the loss of limb or life. That most people get in their cars and have no idea what it's like to be in a bad accident or be the causer of a bad accident. Many years ago, I was on a bus that had no brakes. Not a school bus. It was an old school bus turned church bus. I went to move this vehicle. I went to stop at a red light a block away and found I had no brakes. I'm like, oh my gosh. I steered gently towards the curb. And guess what? The weight of that vehicle going 10 miles an hour jumped the curb, hit the traffic light, caused the traffic light to do the big lean, put a V in the hood. It looked like a Chevy Chase movie. The cop was good to me. I explained to him what happened, and he said, you know, I'm not gonna go after you. This is an honest mistake. They had the city tow it. He gave me a ticket for unsafe vehicle, which was a no-point violation. And it was, I think, a minimal fine of like $25. He could have been hard on me. That was a long, long, long time ago. But I learned something through that accident. Just the weight of the vehicle. It will go and jump things and keep on rolling. There was nobody on the vehicle. It's interesting that most people think that whatever is on their social media is more important than safe driving. It is interesting that people with dogs in the bed of their pickup are roaming around in the back seat of the car with the window half open, and the mother's got her coffee cup in one hand, and don't kid yourself. The dog crowd is vain too. They want everybody to notice their dog, and they know that works. Oh, look at the cute little dog. I'm a little more cynical than that. This means a bad driver. I've seen it over and over. You step out in a crosswalk, and woman or man with the dog in the front seat, they'll run you over. I've watched this over and over. People that are consumed with the love of a dog as a pet have little or no compassion for other human beings. In fact, our whole society seems to be geared that way. And what was interesting in my observation after year of driving, conservatives, Democrats, the LGBT community, the old, the young, the rich, the poor, I made some observations. No one drives any better than anybody else. I would think that somebody who exhibits the Christian faith would feel a certain amount of conviction to drive the speed limit and follow the rules. They don't. I would think that somebody who claims to be conservative and is so against the Democrat agenda, who's always accusing the Democrats of being lawless and supporting corruption, you think that they would drive better. They don't. Yesterday I was on the freeway and a semi-truck, I was just about to overtake it, and he moves over in front of me. No signal. I saw that it was clear to my left, and he was going 10 under the speed limit. I punched my 302 and got even with him. I looked at him. He wasn't even looking in his mirror. Hispanic male, looking down at the seat, laid on the horn. He probably didn't even hear it. I have gone to many churches in my life, and even other people have told me this. Yeah, you go to church, and they're all speeding out of the parking lot and almost hitting each other. It does seem to be a fact that Americans tend to compartmentalize what they believe from their actions. All of us, if we're honest, are guilty of that. We say we believe something, but we don't often model or follow. The Bible says, submit to the governing authorities, pay taxes to whom taxes are due, tribute to whom tribute is due, give respect to whom respect is due. And most Christians, when I've had this discussion about Christians and speeding, I had one young woman quip up, I really don't think God is concerned about how we drive. I think things are more important than we love Jesus. Oh yes. The We Love Jesus Euphoric crowd. That's another video. I said, but as a Christian, aren't we supposed to show something different to the world around us? And the answer is yes. We're not supposed to act like all of them. We're supposed to be a cut above. I've had people honking because I won't make the right turn, because I'm looking at both sides of the street. And part of me just says, boy, maybe I ought to sit here for 5 minutes until they really simmer down. It's interesting to notice people feel that it's perfectly legal to break the speed limit to pass me in a residential area where it's 25 miles an hour, but they'll use their turn signal. I'm like, oh, you're a great driver. You just went 80 to pass my bus, when I'm going the speed limit and I'm not stopping for kids. I also learned that a good barometer of any culture is to stare out your windshield and watch the behavior of the citizens of any culture driving their cars. Little or no respect for the laws, little or no respect for anybody else. No penchant for safety or regard for the life of others. How many of you driving when you're going through major intersections and you got the green light are looking and scanning that intersection as you're approaching it? How many of you are driving through going, oh, it's green if they hit me? What if that they hit you is a tractor trailer going along at 80? Yeah, he'll get the ticket. You'll be in the grave. I had to learn myself. I used to be one of those people. I got the green light. Now I go, yeah, I got the green light, but not everybody else is aware of that fact. I find myself looking ahead, looking side to side, and scanning those intersections. I find myself in my truck when I go through certain neighborhoods in Denver where they have a stop sign and I have through, and at 25 I'm looking. Here in Denver, people blow stop signs. Yesterday I was going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. The light turned green. I saw the gentleman stop on the left who had the red light. As soon as I crossed that intersection, he punched it and blew the red. Yep, we have people who think, well, if it's late enough, there's nobody around, I'll treat the red light like a four-way stop. It's interesting, the book of Judges ends with this one line, and each man did that which was right in his own eyes. Years ago, I did a video called A Signal of Your Witness, applying to the Christian faith. What are we telling people by how we drive? In Colorado, we have a rule here in traffic that you stay in the lane and you drive all the way to the point of merge, and the dotted line starts in, you signal and you merge in politely and accordingly. When I finally learned that, I find that that really works, and I found that the merge lane tends to move faster than all the traffic lanes. But every so often, you're at the point of merge, you're being gracious, you signal, and it is always women who will pull up and block you. Always women. She gets even with me and looks right at me. I just shake my head and go, really? You can't let somebody in. There was enough gap, but now you sped up and closed. Women have a power trip in this country. They have no power over anything else, but when they get in their car, they're going to make a statement. Yes, there are people who get off on this behavior. Ha-ha. I didn't let them in. Ha-ha. It seems that there's a plethora of people that have to beat another vehicle to the next red light. Driving, slalom, get up there, you get up there, and guess who's next to you? And you look at them. They won't look at you. Have you noticed that? And then the light changes, and now they want to make a real statement. They'll squeal their tires and tear off. You'll get 10 lights down, and they're still next to you. There is what I call in a city a driver neurosis, a neurotic behavior that people like rats in a cage. Look at me in my big truck. I'm going to rev that thing and I'm going to let everybody know I'm a god. Look at this truck that I have. Yeah, look at that truck. Made at a factory along with how many millions of others. You're impressive. But Michael made his mistakes. Michael used to be in his 20s too, and I did California stops, and I would go from Prescott to Phoenix at 80 miles an hour in my pickup as a Christian with all my Christian bumper stickers on the back window. And it wasn't until I went into school bus training that I realized, man, I was a bad driver. People treat driving way too lightly. But I challenge you in American cities, listen to the commercials. Have you or someone you know been injured in an auto accident? Contact Sawaya Law Firm. Were you in a motorcycle accident? Call the Law Tigers. We represent bikers. Most Americans, when they get in their car, don't realize that that car could become their coffin. There's laws. You're supposed to use your turn signal when you move from one lane to the other. Right now in Colorado, we have a massive influx of people moving here. It's been going for 5+ years. Building boom, job boom, traffic influx boom. It's insane. And the locals are constantly complaining that it's all the out-of-staters. So I asked myself, is this true? I live in any place long enough, I can tell who the locals are. The Colorado license plate sticker, the sticker that looks like the Colorado license plate, and it says native. They don't use the turn signals. They go a minimum starting at 10 over the posted speed limit, even in a school zone, which is 20. They don't let you in. They drive aggressive. Yesterday, I had a semi-truck, tow truck. Narrow lanes, curvy lanes, 6 lanes one way. Guys roaring up on me. I can see him. He's not far enough distance in a curve with heavy traffic where you're to go 20. He's punching it, risking hitting mirrors, making contact with my vehicle. I'm going, wow, big advertising all down the side of this 18-wheeler wrecker. Here in Colorado, the dump truck operators, the tractor trailer, as well as the single unit truck. The police don't seem to pull them over. They're paid by the load, so they drive around like banshees in a big, heavy vehicle loaded with stuff. Speed limits don't mean anything. Tractor trailer dump trucks getting in the left lane to go 20 or 30 past all of the traffic going 65. Yep, they're going 85, 90. No turn signals, no safety, a commercial driver. The other drivers that are bad are your contractors, your plumbing and heating, your office supplies, all the rolling billboards. I've called on these people numerous times. When I see the big phone number and then I see how's my driving, I'm like, oh yeah. Most of the time, I get a manager of the office that says, oh, really? Well, I'm going to be calling that driver in today and having a talk. Thanks for taking the time to tell me that's not acceptable. I often thought if I had money and I didn't need to be employed, I would have a sidekick ride in my truck. And I'd say, we're going to go around today and make YouTube videos of bad drivers. We're going to show these contractor vehicles. We're going to show City of Denver employees going way over the posted speed limit. We're going to show it all. And we're going to publicly call this out. This business of saying that looking out my windshield is a barometer of our culture is the facts. No manners, no regard for the laws that the government put into place. There's arrogance involved. I don't need to go 30, I'm a good driver. They've interviewed people who drive for the Indy 500. And the Indy 500 race car drivers will tell you, when I get in my car, I follow the traffic laws. And they said that they're amazed at how bad everybody drives, and they think that they're Mario Andretti out there. And even the racers say, you need to take driving seriously. You don't play. I could go on and on with story after story of the craziest things I've seen. As a Hispanic woman, I had a bus aide on the bus. In other words, another adult. Kids were getting off, mother, a kid, starting to cross. The woman goes through my stop sign. I hold the horn down. She stops and she starts pointing. And I looked at my para and I said, did you see that? She goes, yeah, what's she pointing you for? And I said, oh, yeah. And I looked at her and I said, stop sign? You see the people right there? You see? What this all indicates is a lack of care and respect for other people. What this indicates is people think that when they're in their little thin-skinned steel lined with plastic box that they're in, that's the one thing they have control of, and they're going to make a statement. You're not going to tell me what to do. I actually, once in a while, I don't like to do it because it's depressing, but I do it for educational purposes. I will tune into YouTube showing bad drivers, Russia, dash cams on cars. Russia is terribly atrocious, terribly atrocious. But I'll look at U.S. videos of people running red lights, people doing the stuff that they do. I spent an hour watching a video of a bridge in the East Coast somewhere. They got signs, blocks in advance, low bridge, trucks turn right. They showed box truck after box truck, motorhome, blasting down a railroad trestle bridge, tearing the box off, hitting it with such impact that the box hits the bridge, the front of the truck lifts off the ground, the box rips in half. Then they did a compilation video that this goes on constantly. Flashing warning lights. Low bridge, not enough clearance, box trucks, semi-trucks, motorhomes, do not go under this bridge. They ran the video together. You'd think that it was one right after another all day long. That shows you how much people are paying attention to road signs. I was in Spokane, Washington. Downtown Spokane. There's a sign that shows a height, but there's also no parking signs and businesses and high-rises and so much busyness that if you aren't really paying attention, you'd miss it. And a trucker decided to go under a pedestrian overbridge that connected two high-rises, and it had just happened, and I was driving my pickup home after a day of driving routes, and I was like, oh my gosh. The tractor had attempted to go under it, hit the semi, and about 10-15 feet of the semi was crumpled in the box, and the semi-truck was twisted and leaning as the box had caught and jerked back on the truck, flipping it in a weird position. I thought, now how in the heck are they going to get that out of there? And I saw the truck driver standing there, pacing, hand on the head, and you could tell this guy did not have a good day today. And I felt bad for him, that he probably hasn't been here before, wasn't paying attention. They showed videos of, actually I went to a place that made bucket truck bodies. And the snorkel lift and the man that's standing the bucket, and he can run it with a joystick and repair phone lines, tree trim, whatever. And they had pictures in the business showing bucket trucks that drove down the street with the bucket up, taking out phone wires, getting caught in trees, the bucket and the man caught in the branches of a tree. I'm like, do people really do this kind of stupid stuff? The answer is yes. How about this one? You're driving in a residential neighborhood. Mom gets in her SUV. You see the reverse lights come on, and you think she'd look. Reverse comes on, and she jackrabbits backwards out of her driveway. I just come to a stop because I know she's not going to hit me, and I just wait. She comes flying out of there. She's 3 feet from my bumper, and suddenly she goes, stares at me, and I just go, that's all I do. In America, the most likely scenario is, where'd you come from? You weren't even there. No, I was there. I was less than half a block away when I saw your reverse lights coming on. I just automatically slowed because I figured you weren't even going to stop. And you didn't until you're out here in my line of impact. Sometimes I don't honk. Sometimes I just let them have the full benefit of pulling the seat out of their butt when their butt puckers on the seat and they go, oh my gosh. Yeah, you might want to do the look to the left and look to the right. How many of you in your cars or pickups rock and roll when you're at an intersection? You know, you got a mirror sticking out and you know your mirror can hide a whole vehicle. The plastic back bracket of the mirror can hide a whole nother vehicle. Do you look around it? Do you make sure there isn't a kid that you didn't see? Safe driving, if you want to avoid tickets and you want to avoid accidents, you'd better be a proactive defensive driver. Anybody heard of the Smith system? I employ it every day. A sentence that can help you put this together is all good kids like milk. All aim high in steering. Good. Get the big picture. Most motorists don't do that. And you see it all day long. The motorist that's behind me thinks I'm the one driving slow. There's bumper-to-bumper traffic in front of me, and they finally go out and do some boneheaded move only to find it, oh, it's not the bus. Or classic American move of stupidity. I got to get around this car. He's only going 25 in a 30 zone, and I'm really getting torqued. They don't look at the left lane. They don't look at the right lane on multiple lanes. Nothing else is moving either. And I love those people. They jackrabbit over. I see them in my mirror. They're frustrated. They're seething. And then my lane suddenly goes and they're stuck. I'm like, wow, now you're even further behind me. Isn't that fun? Love it. I love watching impatient drivers get hung in their own net. It's awesome. Like, leave yourself an out. When you're tailgating, when you're going fast and tailgating, and that little Prius in front of you decides, oh, I missed my turn, and slams on the brake, you just rear-ended him and you get the ticket. Milk. Make sure they see you. Do you make eye contact with a driver when you're making a right turn and they're sitting to your right, facing you? Do you look at them? Do you look at eyeballs when you're at a four-way stop sign? You'd better. I do it when I'm a pedestrian. I'm watching people's faces. I make sure they see me, and I make sure I wait for them to go like this. Okay, he sees me. I'm walking. Never assume. One of the philosophies that governs me is expect the unexpected. You should expect that minivan mom with all of her kids, that she took the time to carefully buckle into their car seat. You can expect that that mother, who you would think cares about the lives of her children, is going to back up out of her driveway with caution on an icy day. You're wrong. She's going to put in reverse, has not even cognizant of the fact it had freezing rain the night before. She's going to put in reverse, jackrabbit out of her driveway, and you, the good driver who has the right of way, needs to be aware that when you watch that van, you better stop in advance, because she's not going to stop. She's not only going too fast, she's going to slide when she hits the brakes. I watch people on icy days in Denver. Somebody sliding down the hill. You could see it, and they're moving. They can't stop. This thing is spinning, drifting, sliding, and they decide they're going to cross the intersection. Oh, he slid into me. Yeah, dummy, you saw him sliding. Why didn't you stay behind the stop sign? He would have slid right on past you. Now you got in an accident because you wanted to maintain your rights. Feminism is destroying safe driving. I'm going to say it like it is. I'm a woman. No one's going to tell me what to do. When you drive under the influence of emotions, you're as dangerous as a man walking down a public street with his finger on the trigger of a machine gun. Yes. You need to drive on a logical basis, not an emotional basis. You need to be smart enough to know that, yeah, everybody else is obviously not a good driver. You have to be the one. You have to be the one that avoids an accident for yourself, but you have to be the one that avoids an accident with everybody else, if you want to be considered a good driver. One of the rules I started employing in my life in my pickup, so I don't know what it is, people get in these SUVs that have poor visibility, is if I'm on the freeway and you're overtaking another vehicle, I'm watching. I'm in the right. There's a vehicle just slightly ahead of me in the left. We got heavy traffic. I'll stay a couple feet behind the vehicle in the left lane next to me because I know what they're going to do. Oh, crap, I need to move over. Leave enough room. Don't stay 2 feet into his rear bumper where he suddenly has to dart, and people don't think about that. Most people today, they don't think about the big picture. They think nothing's happened to me. I never get tickets. You never get tickets because the police aren't out there ticketing. I've never got in an accident yet. People are led to a false sense of confidence. And one thing I cannot communicate enough to most of the average John Q. public motorists: when you move in front of a big vehicle, be aware of the fact that the laws of physics take over. That yes, I have a brake pedal, but it doesn't mean I have bigger brakes and I can stop faster. It means that my stopping distance is going to take a lot longer than that Prius you're driving. So if you pull in front of me and then you slam on the brakes, you will become my speed bump. I've watched videos of this stuff. These trucks don't just ram, they will crush your car. I don't know what they're teaching in driver training today, but they're not. All they're doing is trying to get people to pass their test. That's it. People laugh when I tell them I'm a school bus driver, you know, the show-off ones. The ones that got the college degrees and the big houses. And I look at them and I say, you know what? As a school bus driver, I see all the suits and ties and college degrees professionals out there. They're the worst drivers on the road. They went to college. They got an education and they're not driving, exhibiting that they're educated. Speed limits, turn signals, following distance, proper behavior, proper respect for fellow citizens on the road, that's all gone. So my observations have made the following conclusions. Women tend to be more selfish and refuse to let you in. I notice more men will let me into traffic than females. That is a constant. I notice that it doesn't matter what you believe, that the verdict is in. Whether you're conservative, Democrat, atheist, or Christian, they all drive nutso. And what's really interesting is you would think that the suits and ties, they drive worse than teenagers. A lot of teenagers tend to be very cautious because the laws are very strict in Colorado. It's the adults who fail to set an example. And this is a real hard issue for me because I cannot believe how bad the vast 95% of the drivers in Denver are terrible. And that's a conservative figure. And I could go on, but I think you get your point. If you can't turn on your turn signal, there must be something wrong with you. The other day, a vehicle went around me with handicap plates at a high rate of speed. No turn signal. Jumping from lane to lane, and I thought, yeah, you're handicapped, all right. Something's wrong up here. So this is Pacific, and you heard it here first.